Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the chart of Sean Connery and what made him such a legendary actor. If you look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Sagittarius rising at 13 degrees. 13 degrees becomes the most effective point of every house. And any planet like Saturn that's close within 5 degrees of the most effective point has a lot of power in his chart. In fact, Saturn aspecting the first house gives him a tall stature. So let's look and see how the planets are operating, and then we'll look at different events in his life and see when the planets were operating, and then we can look and see what are the remedies to improve that could have improved the chart. So first we look to see where the Multicona signs are and how they activate different things he came here to learn about in this lifetime. So Multicona signs, many planets rule 2 signs, but they're more closely connected to one of those signs, and that becomes the Multicona sign. For example, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Venus is all about relationships, Libra is all about relationships, not so much Taurus. So Venus is more connected to Libra. So the Multicona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. So here we have the 11th sign of Aquarius, ruled by Saturn in the 3rd house. 3rd house is all about communication, and he was definitely a performing arts, fine arts. So he wrote poetry, he was an actor. The first sign of Aries, ruled by Mars in the 5th house. 5th house is all about entertainment and creativity. Then the 8th house, you have the 4th sign of Cancer, ruled by Moon. So Moon gives him the ability to research different sorts of acting roles. Then you have the 5th sign of Leo, ruled by Sun in its own house. So he's learning about giving a lot of good fortune in his life. Then we have the 6th sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in its own house. So this is learning about your career, having to do with communication. 7th sign of Libra, ruled by Venus in the house of income. Again, it says he can have income through performing arts. And then the 9th sign in the 1st house. So this is the house of life purpose and longevity. He did live to be 90 years old. So let's see how these planets are operating. Sun is at 8 degrees, close to the most effective point. Again, gives good fortune through leading roles. In fact, he had this very powerful, authoritative voice. Sun gives that authoritative voice. Moon is at 0 degrees. Now, any planet, any Multicona sign in the 6th, 8th, or the 12th house, the Dustana houses, the challenging houses, can cause harm. So again, we have Cancer ruled by Moon in the 8th house. So Moon can give some issues at some points during his life in the transit chart. It's not affecting anything here. It's not close to any of these planets or 7 houses away. So fairly benign in the birth chart. But yeah, it gives him that ability again to research the different acting roles. I think this the 8th house is the prime indicator for relationships, so it probably could cause divorce. He had 1 divorce. And then also some longer term issues, dementia, stomach ulcer, throat cancer, could be affected by moon. Mars is at 5 degrees. It is afflicted by K2, and it's in that house of partnerships, ruling the house of entertainment. So it gives, the ability to entertain. He was competitive. He was a golfer. He was in the Navy. So Mars is all about, sportsmanship and military. Though he was let go of the military because of his stomach ulcer. He was also there was rumors that he was abusive with his first wife, so that could give impatience, an aggressive nature. This is the fifth house is the house of education, and he really donated generously to education. Let's see. And then Mercury, in its own house, gives career through communication, performing arts. You got Venus there too. Moon, the acting, researching the acting roles, all of that tied up with the acting. Jupiter gives life purpose through partnerships. So acting is all about partnerships. And gave him one child, good longevity. And Jupiter also gave very persuasive speech. Venus is at 24 degrees. It is debilitated, so it is a little bit weak. It's ruling the house of income, placed in the career house, so gives income through performing arts, acting, poetry. Gave him his good looks. He was said to be a sex symbol, and a supportive wife. She was an actress, but because it is debilitated, it can cause divorce. Saturn is at 12 degrees, right on the most effective point. Gives success through acting, tall nature, and gives him some conservative, modest. He didn't live an extravagant life, and Saturn actually blesses the house of success through the acting, blesses the house of partnerships, blesses the house of good fortune, and it also blesses the sun. So again, giving those leading roles in many, many, many movies. Rahu and K2. So Rahu gives this desire for entertainment and creativity. K2 gives insights into creating income and social connections. So let's look at the timing of events. So Sagittarius is a dual fire sign, makes him very passionate, gives him the good acting skills. From 1962 to 1983, he had a lot of great movies, and again, that was during a Rahu Jupiter period, so giving expansive nature, desire for entertainment. He had a son in 1963 during a Rahu period. This is the house of children, fifth house, Rahu there. 93, you got throat cancer, and that was during a transit where K2 and Rahu were at the most effective point, and K2 was afflicting the second house, which is the throat. He got knighted in 2000 during a Saturn Rahu period, again giving good fortune. He died during a Saturn Mercury period, October 30th, 2020. And during at that point, and we can look at that chart. Let's see here. Basically, the transit of Rahu was in the 6th house. Ketu was in the 12th house, 6th house of disease, 12th house of end of life, causing Ketu causing unexpected events. And Moon, Rahu, and Ketu were all afflicting Mercury. Mercury could be the mind and also represents the throat. So he had dementia and the throat cancer. So these are the most important points according to Vedic astrology. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in getting a Vedic astrology reading, you can go to www.vastucreations.com under services. And if you're interested in learning Vedic astrology, you're going to go to American Institute of Vastu.com. And also, if you want to get certified, there's a certification course in American Institute of Vastu.com. Thank you so much for listening.